Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Dallas. I'm Nick Miller alongside Steve Long, our lone 9-0 player after day one. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Thank you.
I would say you are. You are playing my favorite strategy, just beat them down. You've got this nice, we'll call it Naya Zoo deck here, but we've seen all kinds of different Zoo strategies pop up here in Modern, but what really pulled me toward your list is the cards we saw in Standard back in the day that kind of drifted away but have come back. Burning Tree Emissary, Flinthoof Boar, along with all of the other creatures we were used to seeing, along with Experiment 1. So your deck's super low to the ground, very low land count. How'd you come to this build?
I wanted to be fast enough to beat Tron and John Grixis decks, and that's really it. I just wanted to drop my hand, do as much damage as possible, and if they can't 1-for-1 me or they can't swipe my board, it's going to be over in a couple minutes. So
right, with the way you have it built, even the 1-for-1s are going to have a tough time kind of dealing with you because of how fast.
Especially when you have the multiple emissary hands, yeah.
Right, back in the day Standard, we would see the triple emissary hands into something.
Yeah, and back in the day they didn't have command, which was that's beautiful.
Yeah, Tarkus command. Jerry Thompson pointed out on coverage when you're on camera how much better it is in a deck with this when you can just have so many more creatures.
Yep.
All right. So the usual clan here, we got Kirdape, Wild Nacatl, got Lightning Bolt, all that. But Flinthoof Boar, just a really good ability to have haste out of nowhere.
It's the haste, but it's also the 3-butt. It's huge, especially this is 5/3/8 Nacatls. So to be able to go him to 3/3 consistently is one of the key to the decks.
Right. So Experiment 1, obviously you want to have that 3. So along with Nacatl and Boar,
oh yeah,
you can get them up there, survive the removal spell, keep them around. Okay. So you got Path to Exile here and Searing Blaze as your only real removal spells outside of Lightning Bolt. You don't have cards like Boros Charm, so you're not so much on the burn plan, but you're just trying to clear out.
Exactly. I was testing Boros Charm, and it's awesome in the burn matchups, but I'm trying to drop up as many creatures as possible. And when I do that and they drop like a Goyf or they drop a Tasigur, it's like, well, I can do 4 damage, but I'm going to lose my guys.
Right.
So I'd rather just be able to get in there or at least attack and burn that guy out so he can't block again.
Yeah. Speaking of Tarmogoyf, you have your own copies in it. Another card that some of the Zoo lists are kind of not going toward. They just kind of use stuff like Eidolon, something like that, but you have just a more robust creature base.
Yeah, and I got laughed at by some friends because I'm only playing 3 of them. I don't actually like to see them in my opening hand, especially when you're trying to drop your whole hand because it's a 1/2 Goyf. That's kind of irrelevant at that time.
Yeah, not the best when you have not a lot in your graveyard and you have just a bunch of creatures. So
yeah, but it gives you some late game. So when you're top decking, I'm not drawing 1/1s. I can get a Goyf. So
right. Yeah, so definitely a way better draw than something like Experiment 1 after you're trying to rebuild.
Yeah, after the first couple turns, it's kind of you don't want to see Experiment 1.
All right, and you were kind of considering playing Tron at this tournament, and you decided to go with this instead. What was your strategy?
I couldn't beat this, and I couldn't beat the burn decks with Tron. So even the turn 3 Wurmcoil I lose. Sure. So I didn't really want to be in that position doing nothing the first couple turns, except maybe a Pyroclasm that doesn't kill everything. So I just switched it up, and I was like, I'm just going to drop my hand by turn 3. So
yeah, and we've just seen you just vomit creatures on the board. There's not much you can deal with. You even have Goreclan Rampager here to push damage through.
Oh yeah, it's a beast.
All right, well you're 9-0. Let's take a look at the sideboard real quick. Lightning Helix, Core Firewalker, a bunch of stuff to kind of help you out in the burn matchup.
Yes, sideboard is extremely random. I decked it out to beat two decks, Affinity and Burn.
All right.
I was like, what 2 decks can go faster than me? Okay, I'm going to hate those. Everything else, I'm just going to outplay as fast as possible. So.
Right. Against Affinity, you got a bunch of Ancient Grudges, Shatterstorm, you got a Kataki in here as well. Stony Silence, can't forget about that. So the 2 decks you mentioned, you have a lot to go on with that. You also got a couple other random cards. You got a Rending Volley here, helps against Twin, I assume. Sudden Shock, I saw you win round 9 today with that card, so
yeah, it's really in there as a case. I have 2 case cards against Infect. So the Sudden Shock and the Malaria. So I wanted some hate because they can go off. My matchup's pretty good because I flood the board. So sometimes I just can't get through, or I'm faster than them actually, even if they're playing like Bodied Agents or Nexus, because that takes a couple turns to build up.
Oh yeah.
So I just wanted a couple case cards just in case.
Yeah, there's no playing around it with Infect. You go in and you just lose. So.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, you even got the planes here in the sideboard. Interesting choice to just have the basic planes there.
Yeah, like I said, people make fun of me for doing the land in the sideboard, but against the Naya burn decks, I really don't want to shock myself getting that second white for the Firewalker.
Sure.
So a lot of times, I'll take 2 damage, Sacred Foundry, and then fetch and then get the planes and drop it, and they're just like, okay, well, you're still above 17. I'll get 17. I'm doing pretty good. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're the one who's laughing now. 9-0 after day one. Deck looks great. We'll see you tomorrow for sure. So,
So far, so good.
yeah, good luck,
Yeah.
Steve. Thanks for joining me here in the sideboard.
I appreciate
Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action here in Dallas.